Hello, it's Courtney again, and today we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. Last time we talked about what our emotions are, as well as learning how to process those emotions. So I made another presentation and let's dive in. Okay, so emotional intelligence, known as EQ or EI, is the ability to understand, to use, and to manage our emotions. So emotional intelligence, it helps us to build strong relationships, make good decisions, and deal with difficult situations. So it basically helps us to better interact with other people and to better communicate what it is we need and what it is we're feeling to others. So it is a really important skill to learn. The first part of emotional intelligence is being aware of your emotions. So this is the ability to notice, to accurately label, and to acknowledge our feelings and emotions. And this is the most basic skill to learn in emotional intelligence. So being aware of our emotions, this skill can help us to be able to notice them as we feel them and help us to manage those emotions and feelings better. So it is a very useful skill. And now part of that is checking in with yourself. So throughout the day, if something feels a little off, be like, what do I feel right now? What sensations do I notice in my body? So an example of this is sometimes I find when I'm a little irritable or short with people or irritated, I ask myself, how do I feel right now? And what sensations are in my body? And a lot of the time, the sensation is that I'm hungry and that I feel irritated because I need food. And so that's kind of part of it, is doing the little check-in to notice what you're feeling. And then the second part is allowing yourself to feel that. And then comes into the acknowledgement. So we talked a little bit about acknowledging our feelings in the last one. And so acknowledging our feelings and accepting them is a big part, and it's part of the growth piece. As you get better at emotional intelligence, it becomes easier to accept those emotions as well. So accepting emotions means noticing, identifying, and understanding our emotions without blaming others or judging ourselves for how we feel. So it's not helpful to tell ourselves that how we feel is someone else's fault. And it's also not helpful to judge our emotions and think I shouldn't feel this way, or it's awful that I feel this way. The goal is to acknowledge your feelings without letting them run away with you. And so the illustration there is it will pass. So remembering that emotions are short feelings and we just need to work through the process, and we can end up dealing with them a lot easier. So the second part of emotional intelligence is understanding how others feel. So this is the ability to understand and notice what others might be feeling in certain situations and what could have led them to feel that way. So the next photo that is there is a feelings chart. And this feeling chart is super valuable because it gives us an idea of what emotions and feelings look like on people and how they are expressed. And so understanding what may have caused people to feel a certain way is really valuable in engaging with other people and in having any form of relationship. And so once we can notice in ourselves, what we're feeling and why we're feeling a certain way, it's easier to notice in other people. A part of understanding how other people are feeling and noticing what other people might be feeling is empathy. And so with empathy, it is the idea of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And on this image, I put a few other options just so we can better understand what empathy is compared to pity and sympathy. So pity is I acknowledge your suffering. So I notice that you fell over and hurt your knee. I just notice it. Sympathy is I care about your suffering. It would mean me being like, that sucks. Empathy is I know what that feels like and it sucks and I'm going to feel that with you. And so in the illustration, there's the two people there and what they're dealing with, the other person is thinking about and putting themselves in the other person's shoes. And empathy becomes an important part in emotional intelligence because it guides us on what to say and how to behave when others have strong emotions. The last part of emotional intelligence is managing emotional reactions. That is choosing when, where, and how to express the emotions that we feel. So this is the cool thing, is that we get choice. We get to control what we do and how we react with those emotions. So this image is about processing emotions. If you remember from the last video, it went through the processing of emotions where you would stop, name and notice what it is you're feeling, what the emotion is. Then the think part is the linking the emotion to what is occurring around you and maybe what caused that emotion. And then the last part is choosing what you do with that emotion. So managing emotions is more about the doing part, the choosing how to react, of the processing emotions. So when we are choosing how to react, it's important to understand that how you react can influence or affect what happens in situations. And it also influences how others will likely respond in those situations and how you might affect how other people feel in those situations. So let's say that I'm at school and someone's making fun of me. I choose that right then and there isn't the best time to react, and that in school isn't the best place to react. So what I decide to do is take a slow breath and go to the washroom and calm down. Even though I may have wanted to scream at them, I chose to deal with it differently. And so that would be managing my emotional reaction. So that was emotional intelligence. I hope that was helpful and you could understand it. Just like last time, there are links below the video to all my resources and where you can find that information and maybe do a bit of research on your own. Next time, I'm going to be doing some videos for different age groups where we'll be learning different activities and different ways to better understand, express, and process our emotions and develop the skill of emotional intelligence. I'll see you next time.